Hi, I'm Corey with a primer on primer. I'm talking specifically about Bones miniatures. They say that you can paint right on them without priming. Don't do it. Bones miniatures are slightly hydrophobic. Doesn't mean that they're afraid of water, it just means that water might beat up on them. So on a mini like this, I've built up tons of layers of washes, probably 7 or 8 different colors to get in there and get those details. And I'm not going to be able to do that just on the surface of a Bones miniature. The water's going to beat up, it's not going to stick, it's going to look streaky and blotchy. So where do you go for primer? The old go-tos were the spray cans. With Bones, don't ever use spray. It tends to leave your miniatures a little bit tacky. They never feel like they dry, and so you're going to have a mess. In most cases, you're going to be really happy with a brush-on primer. Vallejo and Reaper both make great examples. Use the darker color if you like traditional painting. I like a medium gray or a white for to get brighter, more intense colors. You just want to build a surface that's really great for painting your miniatures. Now, if you want to go crazy, you can go airbrush. Badger makes some incredible primers. If you're going to airbrush, this is the way I like to work. I like to work on a medium gray surface, and I can blow some highlights in there with white and see a lot more of the shape. Airbrush is a lot of work. You got to keep it from clogging. It's a lot of cleanup. It's a lot of maintenance. But if you're going to get crazy like I am here and you've got 50-some miniatures that you're going to prime at once, it really pays off. I'm going to start by adding ballast, aquarium rocks, sticks, whatever I can find to the bases to build them up. Doesn't matter what this looks like before it's primed. Once this all gets glued down and sprayed the same color, it's going to look fabulous. When I start with the airbrush, I put the miniatures on these heavy-duty paper plates, space them out, and I'm just going to turn and work on them from all different angles. And it's a lot like working with a spray can. You don't want to get too close, the paint will puddle. You want to work quick, and you don't want to overdo it. I'm going to do several light coats rather than one heavy coat. Now I'm going to lay the miniatures down, and I'm going to see that there's huge areas that the airbrush didn't even get to. And I can use the sides walls of the plates to kind of stack these miniatures up in a way that I can get at all these different angles. I'm going to come at these with another light coat, not getting too close, not puddling the paint.
I'll flip these minis over as many times as needed to get every angle. I just want a nice even coat on everything. So less is more. When you feel there's no white showing, you're done. Don't worry if the ballast isn't quite gray, because you're probably going to paint that a darker color anyway. I was airbrushing too long and the paint clogged, so I'll soak it in simple green. We'll get back to it in a couple hours. One thing I absolutely love doing after the base coat is done is coming back and hitting the minis with a pure white highlight. This helps me visualize a light source for shading. Sometimes I also give the minis a little shot from the opposite angle, just for a little reflected highlight. Just real quick. Looks done.
This gives me a surface that's great. It's the equivalent of working on a high-quality watercolor paper. I know it's a lot of work, but the results are phenomenal. So paint on the best surface possible. Don't paint directly on your bones. You're going to be a lot happier with the results.